Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to Pine and Berry Homestead. It has been raining and raining and raining and raining some more here in Maine, just non-stop, which is fantastic. It's wonderful, but it is not wonderful when you want to try to get stuff done in the garden. So I've been coming out in between rain showers or during the rain showers to get things done, but everything's growing beautifully. And I'm excited to give you just a quick little tour of my June garden. I've pretty much got everything in. There's still a lot of empty spots in my garden, but for the most part, everything is planted and growing really well. So I just wanted to show you that. But before we do that, I just wanted to show you my whimsical little clover walkway that brings me right into the garden. I know it may not be like super magical to other people, but it is absolutely flippin' magical to me. Like, I feel like I'm walking into a secret garden, which I love. And before I take you into the garden, I'm actually going to start harvesting some of these red clovers. I am making some medicine with the clovers, and I just wanted to harvest them. So these actually, what is that? Is that a spider? Oh no, it's something else, but it's still creepy crawly. So typically when you're harvesting herbs, you want to come out and harvest them right after the dew has dried on the herbs. But with clovers, you want to harvest them when there is still a little bit of dew left on them so that they can retain their color. There's so many different things that you can use both white and red clover for. They have very similar properties, but mainly I'm going to be using this for skincare because my son, I believe he has eczema, and I really want to help him. So I am harvesting the clover buds, well, the flowers, to make some salves and lotions for our skin. And all I'm really going to do is take it, and it's hard to do one-handed, but pop off the top. Alright, I know that doesn't look like much, but this would be my third harvest of clovers so far this year. I'm trying to be very mindful about how much I'm taking because I really want to leave some for the pollinators because they love them too. And when you're harvesting clovers, you want to find the ones that don't have any like browning little floret thingies. I'm not exactly sure what they're called. I'm not sure of the proper term, but yeah, so I have some drying inside on basically a wire rack that you would put cookies on to cool down. So I have those drying inside, and I'll continue to come out and harvest clovers from all the different little clover patches I have in my yard. But I mean, just look how magical this is. Love it. All right, on to the garden. All right, this is super hard to do with just one hand. I'm getting caught on everything, but everything is looking so good, guys. I came out and mowed it yesterday because the ticks back here are horrible. As you know, I don't let the chickens in my garden, so they're not in here helping with tick control, but that's all right. Okay. Look at the beets. Look how well they're growing. So I am coming through and like thinning out a little bit, just a very, very little bit, because I do want multiple beets to grow in one section. But they're looking really good. And as you can see, the carrots have started to pop up, and I will thin those out so I get some nice looking carrots. And those are our sweet pea flowers, looking real good. More beets. And over here is our snow pea trellis, and they're starting to flower. That's so exciting. We'll have some snow peas very soon. Nature's just so pretty and interesting. It's amazing what one little seed does. In the center, I planted a ton of radishes, but some of them are already starting to go to seed because we've been having like crazy back and forth weather. So radishes are kind of a bust, but I've never really had luck with them anyway. It is what it is. Extra seedlings that are probably not going to find a space in the garden this year. I did not label any of my squash plants, like which I put where. It's going to be a surprise. Woohoo! But everything is looking really, really good. There's our celery, our kale. Still working on pest control, but that's a broccoli. Actually, that's a cauliflower. And that's the best looking one in the garden right now. The others aren't looking so hot. More kale, basil. Our peppers, they're looking really good. They're starting to put off some blooms. So I wasn't sure if I should pick off the blooms so that the plant itself grows bigger, or if I should just let it be, because it's now almost the middle of June. So, well, actually technically it is the middle of June. But I think it's been pretty successful with the topping so far. They're bushing out, so that's really what I wanted. And our rattlesnake pole beans are looking really good. I'm so excited about those. As you can see, I have like wooden skewers around the base of the pole beans. We have a cutworm problem trying to eradicate them, but it's hard. I mean, I don't know where they keep coming from, so still dealing with that whole show. Our scapes, almost time to harvest. This is crazy. This garlic is insane. Like, that's up to my chin. Never ever have I had garlic look this great. So we like make pesto with the scapes. I saw a video from Baker Creek where they did fried scapes, and I want to try it, where you kind of fry it like an onion ring. And I really want to try that out. I just need to find a good recipe for the batter. But I also freeze a lot of the scapes because I do use them in like soups and stews in the fall and winter months. Looking so good. More garlic over there. And check it out. We have a little baby broccoli. And in that one too. Those 2 cauliflower in the back aren't looking great, but we'll see what happens with them. And these cabbages look absolutely beautiful. Like, look at that. Cabbages always amaze me. It's like just this one tiny little seed produces that. Insane. I'm super excited to see these trellises once all the beans just crawl up them. It's going to be so pretty. And, you know, I have always failed at growing onions. Like, they look good right now, but they don't ever bulb up. But I will not give up. I'm going to keep trying. There's another broccoli. So the first year I ever had a good successful harvest of broccoli, I obviously took the big Maine crown, and then I started noticing that like other little baby crowns were like growing out of the broccoli, so I just kept it in my garden and had like little harvests throughout the summer, which is pretty cool. I had no idea that broccoli did that. And here, apparently, some of my cabbage is bolting, and some of it's looking pretty, well, that one's starting to bolt too. I'm going to see if I can actually save seeds from cabbage this year. That's a big goal of mine, is to start really saving some seeds from my garden every year. Just more tomatoes, and I have some celosia plants. I planted in some sunflowers in the beds. Just trying to fill it up as much as possible. But again, this whole method is all new to me, and I'm learning. It's going to be a huge learning curve, and that's okay. Trying not to put too much pressure on myself because I want this to be enjoyable and not stressful. Basil looking good. Soon, I'm not sure if you can see, but right at this node, there's 2 little new leaves beginning to grow. And in order to get like a huge bushy plant, I will basically top the basil right there so that these grow big and branch out, kind of like the peppers. That way I get a huge harvest. Oh look, I picked radishes the other day, the ones that did grow, and then I forgot them in the garden. Silly me. I don't know what that is. Over here, our medicinal garden is looking really good. There's the lemon balm, which I absolutely love. I just absolutely love this plant. And chamomile. Not sure if that's going to give me much of a harvest this year, which is okay. What I'll probably do is just let it go to seed and basically self-sow itself into the garden. So that way I don't have to worry about growing it every year. And this is feverfew. I started growing this because everyone in my family gets headaches. And although the name itself is called feverfew, which means it's helpful for fevers, it's also really helpful for headaches. So these are the new ones that I grew this year. But as you can see, these are all the ones from like last year. And then there's some like growing out of the bottom of the pot too. So that also self-sows readily. Oh, back here, I kind of was thinking of creating this like little nook where, because this area right here gets the most shade. The rest of my garden is like full sun during the afternoon hours. So I was thinking of getting like a little table and chairs out here for us to just sit and chill. Maybe have a beer or a glass of wine, whatever suits our fancy. But yeah, everything's looking great. Not much harvesting right now going on. This is lemon thyme. I like to put a few sprigs of it in a cold drink. These onions are actually looking pretty good. My dill. And this is Tulsi. And I'm hoping I can get this plant to be a little bit bigger. And some rogue carrots right there that decided to finally sprout. And pretty much the same over in this bed. Nothing crazy right now. Although my rutabagas are coming up. How exciting! So I'll sow more rutabagas through the middle of the summer. That way I can get a fall harvest as well, but I do like to freeze these and use them in soups. So as you can see, the cutworms have almost completely destroyed all these onions. These 2 squares were completely full of onions, and now we're down to 6, and there was 9 in each square. So they are jerks. Jerks, 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 I tell ya. And I did decide to utilize some pots around the perimeter of my garden because that's not set up yet. It's going to be a while before it is, so that's just a weed, I think. And oh my God, look at that. You guys, that is a pumpkin. I will be absolutely elated if I get a pumpkin this year. That is so exciting. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. I planted some yarrow there. Look at all our corn. How fun. I don't know what will happen with it. We'll see. Might be too close. Might not make anything, but at least it's growing. And I don't know if you know, but I finally filled this last raised bed, and I filled it with flowers. I filled it with sunflowers, which are also starting to pop it through the ground, and some cosmos. This is a lisianthus that I started from seed, and it took for freaking ever, but it was the only one that made it, and I'm excited to see if it does anything. It's actually grown a lot since I put it in the ground, so. I did stick a bunch of other flowers in here too. Can't remember what it was, but we'll see. Oh. Yeah. I got some mullein growing. There's a big one back there, if you can see that. That one's gonna bloom this year. I have like 5 or 6 of them around my property, which is really cool. But yeah, guys, this is it. I'm really, really pleased with how everything looks, how it's turning out, and honestly, I'm just going to bring you to my favorite spot right now, which is back in this corner where I can just sit and admire my work. It's beautiful. I am so grateful for this lifestyle and learning how to grow food, because it has literally brought magic back into my life. Like, this is absolutely magical to me. Just seeing what one tiny little seed does is just, it kind of blows my mind, honestly. Like, growing up, I had a garden growing up, but I wasn't really interested in it. My mom and dad handled all of it, and it was huge, and I just wasn't super interested in it. I really enjoyed like playing out back in the woods rather than being in the garden. So to me, our food came from the grocery store, and I didn't know how broccoli grew or how beans grew and how there's different kinds of beans and all the work that it takes to grow food. And now that I know, I am so much more appreciative of farmers and people who grow their own food, because it takes a lot of work, but it is absolutely worth it. And it is so cool just to see that putting a seed in the ground and tending to it, what that does. So thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I'm gonna go grab my clovers and head inside and start making some medicine. Have a good one.